I understand that the front tire pressure was not inside the range.
Tire pressure is quite simply how much air you inflate the tire with, so what pressure it must be. If the tire pressure is too low, the tire can move too much, overheat, it's a safety thing. So it has to be at a minimum pressure to avoid any safety problems.
As a technicians, we love to run with a very low pressure. In most of the conditions, low pressure gives more performance. But then, in last few years, we have a limit that we cannot be below a level decided by Michelin.
There's a reason the teams want to run it low, and we cannot let them run too low because then the tire can degrade, can even fail.
For us, it's very important to set the correct pressure to have the best performance, at the same time to be inside the rules.
The whole team set target, seeing all the data from the past days of riding, and they decide a pressure to start with. Of course, the most important thing is try to stay in for the amount of laps that we have to.
You don't decide everything on the race. I mean, it was always a previous preparation. Ducati have a very good work system, and we have meetings and before the race for try to understand which problems we have during the race. And yeah, one of the points was the front tire pressure, because when you are leading, it's a bit difficult sometimes to calculate or to be precise.
The rule is the tyre must meet that minimum pressure, an average of all the readings in a lap, for 60% of the laps of the race. Some races are shorter because we have a red flag and we stop and start again. So then there's a formula for what if it's shorter than 15 laps. The race that we're measuring is between 7 and 15. It has to comply for 30% of the laps of the race. If it's below 6 laps and below, it only has to meet the pressure once, just 2 consecutive readings. Okay, you made the pressure. If the pressure does not meet the required minimum, the penalty is, in a GP race, a 16-second time penalty, so a lot of places, and in the sprint, it's an 8-second penalty. Half the distance, so half the penalty. That's it.
The dashboard is an alarm with the tire pressure, so you have to understand how to make it going higher.
The official data from the sensors, official for race control, it's for us. We don't give to the teams. But of course the teams, being clever, they know they have a tyre sensor on the wheel, so they take this data and they internally use it, and most teams will put a display on the dashboard to say to the rider, hey, pressure's in danger, it's getting close, pay attention, now it's too low, and the rider can try to adjust.
The fact of the pressure, the front tire, is a stress for the rider when they are riding, because increasing, no good feeling, but for us, we set the pressure, is a big stress inside the garage. We do the calculation, we do the pressure, but then we don't know, we are blind during the race, so always I'm afraid, will be okay the pressure or not, how will be, you know only after the race, because we don't have any data in real time, and this is something really stress me so much.
During the weekend, we ride a lot of times alone, and you can more or less have it under control, but when you are behind 4 or 5 riders, the tire pressure goes up very quick, so it's something that you have to manage very well. If the pressure is above, you probably have to get out of the slipstream. That always helps, and if it's the opposite thing, to stay behind and to brake a little bit harder, to put the front pressure a little bit more high.
I make pressure to my rider, we've seen also last few years, try to be in pole position, start in the front row. This makes your job easier, because if you can start in front of the race, at the beginning, you don't have a side effect of increasing the front tire temperature and pressure, so it's the best strategy.
When I was behind Alex, I feel that the front tire was a bit more tricky to manage, because tire temperature was up and tire pressure also was up, but there was time to find a slipstream. Doesn't matter if it was my brother, if it was another rider. I mean, try to find a slipstream to try to avoid the penalty that was 16 seconds that give to you back on the grid.